Hello, everybody.
Happy Sunday.
Happy
Happy
Sunday.
Sunday.
Happy
Hey,
Sunday.
Miss
Shay girl.
Happy
Mr.
Sunday.
Vaughn is back in the house.
And I'm so excited. Like we had such a good time last week, even though we were talking about have the courage to be disliked. It was almost like we were having a party.
Yeah, yeah. In fact,
That's the part of it. We want you to have the courage because sometimes they said it's freedom.
yeah,
It is.
yeah,
Celebrate it. I mean, I say celebrate it. My thing is I'm not gonna lose any sleep over what somebody else is doing.
yeah. And we got so enthralled in it that there were people who asked questions that we couldn't even get to.
I know. So this week we are going to try to get to everybody's questions.
Yeah.
So we have a good icebreaker coming up. We have a good icebreaker coming up.
Yeah, we do. I'm,
And
I'm sure everybody can relate to it.
so we'll come back. We'll introduce Shivonne again, even though she really needs no introduction, but just to remind the people of who she is, or we introduce her again. But Aaron, take it from there.
Got a question for y'all.
What's the question?
Where we going today?
We're going all the way
All the
there.
way there.
Here-
Where are we going today? All the way there. Let's go. Where are we going today? 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 All the way there.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Back in the house is Miss Shivonne Carolina, real estate expert, broker, all kinds of stuff. But I want her to introduce herself to y'all. So,
Hey, everybody, all the way there.
Carolina fashion.
Podcast. Welcome back to this week's episode. My name is Shivonne Carolina. I am a broker here in the DFW market. So if you're looking to buy or sell or invest, talk to me.
Yes, I have your info right here. Please
Thank you, darling. Thank you, darling.
reach out to her. She is one of the best. One of the best.
26 years in this, 3 states over.
That's what's
Long
up,
time.
though.
Yeah, the experience is bar none. I don't have a dissatisfied client unless they special.
So I looked up your name, Shivonne. It is Swahili for "ain't to be messed with." Is that-
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's like, but you gotta say it in a Swahilian accent. Ain't to be messed with. So, that's
Oh,
what it
is that their
Oh.
accent?
I thought he was trying to say my name.
I'm like, is that their accent? But see, I don't know.
That's your Swahili accent.
yeah, but that's what it says. Ain't to be messed with.
Okay, that's what's
Okay.
up.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, praise God.
I love it. I love it. So, Aaron,
Yay.
yeah, we have a topic, an icebreaker topic today.
All right. So the icebreaker topic is something that threw a curveball at people because at first when the news broke, everybody was praying across America. Well, Black America was praying across America, trying to bring this sister home. And the sister just walked through the front door like, what? So Carly Russell came home on her own, just walked down the street, walked in the house. And when
I think
when
she
the
had a
police
bag of
department
Doritos.
when the police department interviewed her, she gave explanations about what happened to her, but the doggone Black Twitter and Black Facebook and everybody else just went off. because she had
Well,
everybody up in arms and she wasn't missing.
okay.
Can I
So,
What
just
say
say,
y'all?
okay,
Now, is this gonna make you leery the next time somebody get missing, go missing?
so for me, it's never gonna make me go leery.
Mhm.
Because you want to believe people. You want to believe that people wouldn't come up with something that extreme. But I don't think she's gonna mess it up for me with other people because she was just off her rockers.
Mhm.
you know. But people were calling it from the beginning, and I just was like, you guys are so mean. Oh, she planned. My coworker, the first thing my coworker said, and on day one, they were like, everybody pray for Carly. He was like, she laid up with some. I ain't gonna say the word,
dude.
dude. And I was like, why would you say that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, the internet went crazy, and here's a couple examples of how they went crazy. And here's a couple examples of how they went crazy.
Here's a
They went
couple.
like that.
And
Here's a
here's a
couple
couple
of
of examples of how they went
examples.
crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Mark
They did
saved
that?
from
I didn't
kidnapping
see that.
myself today.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
But I'm gonna tell y'all, this the one that got me right here.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead real quick.
That's the one that took me out.
Tooken.
Tooken.
Why do you have to say Tooken, Carly?
Because they said she Googled something about the movie Taken.
Yes, I mean I get that part, but just the fact that they put Tooken.
Tooken.
And this was the
Not-
baby.
oh my goodness. I didn't see that one. I
Hilarious.
did not see that one.
Hilarious. And that's Marlon Wayans.
Yeah, when he played that baby. Oh.
Oh man.
For me, when I and I, it's every story. I won't think it's just that color story, but you listen to it like with the guy you just showed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jesse Smollett. With him, first when you hear the story, you're like, okay, but then as you listen, you was like, wait a minute. I don't know. My spidey senses went up, and I'm not, I can't say the man. Well, I think I can now with everything that's come out, but I was just like, that don't sound right. Now with her, with sex trafficking, we're actually getting ready to do our community event. And do you know the youngest sex trafficked person in Dallas is a 9-month-old?
That is so sad.
So to hear her and then to hear her say a 2-year-old, I understand there's things they're doing to get these young ladies that we can't even imagine in normal situations. So I gave pause to it, but I'm like, I'm not hearing anything else. Like the authorities didn't come for everybody else was like, save Carly, look for Carly. You notice the authorities didn't put stuff out.
No.
And that's when I said, wait a minute. And next thing I know, the parody, I saw the parody where she was eating chips and her boyfriend said, hey, you on the news.
Yeah, right.
And she's like, they got cameras. And she's
Yeah.
like, I gotta go home.
But see, I'm gonna tell you, my coworker said that from the beginning. He said from the very beginning, she came home because they was laying up in that hotel, and he was like, oh, I think this is bigger than what you thought it was gonna be. And she said, let me go home. I said, I don't like that y'all keep saying this stuff, because why when a woman get raped, we don't believe her. A woman get kidnapped, we don't believe her. And he was like, I don't care what you say. I understand where you're going with this, but girl is
not that.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, that was. I mean, there got to be a case by case basis.
I can't say I didn't believe her, but I had paused for just a minute. I didn't find it funny or anything like that. It was like, I need more information.
Did any of you guys believe Carly from the very beginning, or you didn't believe Carly from the very beginning? Now she's
gonna do a hard question.
Let us know in the chat,
in the comments.
Yeah, but in the meantime, Aaron, in between time,
we're going with part 2 of not were having the courage to be disliked. And in
Yeah.
this episode, we got a little bit more focused. Last time we talked about different circumstances. We're gonna become a little bit more focused. We're gonna talk about not being afraid to be disliked in your parenting,
Mm-hmm.
in your corporate world,
Mm-hmm.
and in some other things. Like I got one story that fits perfectly. That I'll save for a little bit later. But let me start off with a question to get this ball rolling. All right. So Shivonne and Keela B, in an
Whatever.
example of your parenting, what made you come to the realization that it was time to be free from social norms of parenting?
Hmm.
In other words, don't spank your child. They are little people. They need to be spoken to. And it is a case by case basis. Every child ain't the same, right? But
No,
what
none of
made you say skip society? I got to go from what I know.
for me, I think it was how I was raised,
Mm-hmm.
ethically, and I know some of that. What I'm looking at today, and I'm not gonna say we didn't do things in our teenagers ism or anything
Mhm.
like that, but we didn't have Facebook and all of this. But I also still think there was a level of tact even to our messiness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it's certain things I wouldn't wear or do
Mhm.
because of where I came from. Like you know, how you could be like that. We don't do that.
Mhm. Mhm. And
And
if
so
there's
when my kids came along, that was instilled. But parenting, there is no book.
mhm.
Each
At
child
all.
is different. I end up. My middle has ADHD. Like it was different things with each child,
Mhm.
but
Mm-hmm.
that's also the beauty in it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. It
Right.
is.
So it's actually wrong for society to corral you into thinking one way of parenting is correct.
Absolutely,
I
I
mean,
would.
I think so. I don't think I ever jumped on the society bandwagon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We didn't have
Although,
to.
yeah, my daughter didn't require a lot. You
Mhm.
know, she didn't require for me to be yelling all the time. She just wasn't that type of a kid.
Mhm.
But for me, I've always felt like, okay, I'm gonna say how I feel. You live in this house, and if you want to call Child Protective Services, you just remember that you pack your bag, and I hope you stay somewhere nice, because here it's not gonna be like it is here,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't think I've ever really got caught up in that.
Yeah.
You know, I can even go as far as now we have grandchildren.
Mm.
Now, when they come to us, it's we don't have the same issues that they have with their parents.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But have I ever had to assert my authority? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had no problems because where I come from, we come from good stock, Keela.
Mhm.
No, exactly.
Except for the high school. Okay, so look,
Hey,
me.
watch it
What?
there, brother.
Did I say something? I'm sorry.
Watch
Yeah,
it.
don't
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
get your
Don't go
feelings
there.
hurt. So what
Ooh.
about you, Aaron?
So step parenting. So Shivonne off the grid was and her husband was, and I and Keela were talking, and we were talking about how different that dynamic is. So society wants you to play a role as if this has never happened, or you have to talk to your kids. But when you got a hellion
You
as
know,
a stepchild,
Aaron, I watched a video today. This man was explaining this video. I'm gonna send it to you, Keela, afterward. And he got a split screen. He said he took my little demon. He said my demonic child. I mean, but I was like, he called the child a little demon, but he was saying he went to a drive-up zoo, and the animals come to the car.
yeah.
He said the ostrich came to the window. He said she looked at the ostrich. The ostrich looked at her. She looked back at the ostrich. He said, I'm thinking, like, what is going on? Like, who's going? He said, Dad, we're having ostrich tonight. He said whatever she said to the ostrich, he turned around, was running so fast. She said, he said,
Yeah.
so the little alien that just popped out of my back.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do with a hellion? Now everybody that's
Hey, is it your alien
watching.
or which party is it? Because you're saying it's a blended family, because
Well,
that
it
could
wasn't my hellion. It wasn't mine, because my kids, they kind of know how I am.
Okay.
But she brought some children into this marriage, and I'll just give you a couple of things that he did. He stole, lied, When I find bullets in my house, I'm thinking there's a gun somewhere close to. I mean, keyed up cars just because I'm mad. Well, each time I got infuriated, she was like, "No, wait, we have to talk. We have to find out what's going on." I don't need to find out nothing. You know this boy got it coming. So I did the James Evans. I lifted up Florida, moved her out the way because he got it coming, and we went to going. And I had to buy another kitchen table because I threw him right through it.
Oh boy,
because he had it coming. It's not like 16. It wasn't like he did one thing and infuriated me. I just let it keep stacking until I got to the top.
Well, with kids that age, my boys got real rebellious at that age, and that was the age of coming into manhood, if that makes sense. Yeah. So, and your step parent, you gotta assert. You gotta also. One thing I love about my husband, he asserted authority, but he did it in love. Now, I'm not saying he didn't put hands. He might have to grab him, but it was like he might grab him and he'll say, "Mr. Glover." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and
get that.
By the time he got through with them, they were bawling and apologizing. Like, it was
that wasn't my case. This dude just kept being bucking the authority. But here's the dynamic. He didn't like me, but he respected me.
And that's what it's all about.
And it was just the opposite with his mom. He loved his mom, but he didn't respect her. So I'd much rather have you respect.
But that's part of the goal. Even in parenting, you cannot be their friend. So they may not like you, they may love you, but I'll tell you now that my kids are grown and have their own. These people made people.
Right.
It's I can't ask for nothing. They answer the phone. Like, it's just they get it. That's all you can hope for. I tried to put everything, even every argument, every struggle. I told them, I'm giving you tools for life.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Whether it wasn't given to me, you got to take the torch. You got to go higher.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You got to go upward. But that's the part of not being disliked. I don't care if you like me, you gonna respect me.
And I think that's the important thing, because some people just don't want to be disliked. Yes. And for me, you have to be the heavy, because what's going to happen is I'm trying to prepare you for a world that is going to not be so nice.
They ain't going to care.
They are not going to care.
They're not going to like you.
They're not going to like you. They're going to walk all over you, and they're going to do whatever.
Right.
So I don't want to be a parent that's sitting up here, okay, it's going to be okay, or I'm going to call to you. And I know that we are more like that compared to men, but at the same time, you still can't just be such a coddler that they can't even handle their own.
Right.
So I remember Angel doing some things. She's the only child, so she had to be very independent very early. Mm-hmm. My sister make these jokes because she was like, this little girl was in there flipping pancakes at 4. Well, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Did you make it? I made it, Keela.
Yeah, like that old thing. But did you die? You did it. You made it.
We made it.
We made it.
Look, and they some good kids.
And they good. They are good kids because she stayed on them. She listened. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't want her to come home like some kids do. And I'm not going, well, they just don't like me. And I just don't. And I'm like, well, who cares? I mean, like, it's 800 kids in that school.
Right.
Go find somebody else. Mm-hmm. And you just, keep it moving.
Yeah.
But also, I wanted them to know when you get that gut punch, because life happens. Mm-hmm. I need you to honor that moment. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying don't honor it.
Exactly.
Cry a little bit. I said, exactly. Take a deep breath and stand up and keep it moving.
Exactly. No, that's real though.
Yeah.
That's real. Moving.
Aaliyah says everybody can't be your friend, and everybody ain't gonna like you.
They
can. But they will respect it.
Yeah,
they might not like it, but they gotta respect my game.
Much rather have respect than somebody like. And Aaliyah further says, shoot, my son was doing laundry at 7, and I was charging kids on campus to show them how to do their own.
No, seriously.
Or he was.
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, you give your kids the right tools, like Nikisha said, and they become better off. They become independent sooner than you expect. But if you keep coddling them and doing everything for them, and that was the key in that marriage I was just telling you about, that she would do everything for them. He had a child and he was trying to get custody, but she did all the paperwork. She found the lawyers. She was in court. She was doing all kinds of stuff, and all he had to do was show up.
No,
Like,
it's like
when is he gonna be a man?
Yeah, but you show your kids. I still remember the first time Angel came home and she said, I don't know if it was college or if it was something. Anyway, she had did it, got an answer, and she was gonna be starting. And I'm like, well, you didn't even tell me, like, did you need some help? You ain't asked me, who did your resume?
Well, Keela, girls are,
so independent.
Well, they mature faster than us.
They do
I'll
mature
give you that.
faster.
You guys know what you want way before we do.
As a mom, at first, I was feeling some kind of way, like, dang, she didn't even. But then when I really thought about it,
no, she's doing good.
This is what I want. I want her to be independent. And it's been.
I have a friend that said she was dating a guy. She was 21. She said she was over to the house, and the 21-year-old said, Dad, can you come cut my pancakes? She said, I looked over like,
yeah,
so everybody ain't able.
Right.
You know, look at her face.
You did good is what I'm saying. Like we think we expect our kids to be good, but
right.
Some people everybody ain't able, everybody didn't make it.
Yeah. Let me run this by you guys. This is not a parenting thing, but this is something an example where I'm still not afraid to be disliked on this. So
comfortable.
Well, this is Shay's husband, everybody. The person he just popped in the screen so everybody know. That's her boo.
I'm visiting a little bit.
Okay.
Go ahead, Aaron. I want to
hear
husband.
This babe.
Like, I want to hear this from Aaron.
We go on to sporting events, right? Taking my sons to sporting events. And please rise and remove your hats for the national anthem. And I don't move. And my son's looking at me like, hey, y'all ain't got to move. So we don't stand up for the national anthem. Now ask me why. Okay,
why?
I'll tell you why.
Look, you look like, why? We need to know.
The third stanza of the song is about killing black people.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes,
so
that's our next topic. Okay.
You want me to pledge allegiance to something that's talking about killing me?
I remember coming up in elementary. That was every bell, wasn't it, Keela?
Mm-hmm.
That was
growing up.
What they called it, bell?
I don't know what they called it in your school, but we always rose for the national growing up. But that's before you knew better.
Yeah, that was brainwashing.
Yes.
Wait, George Tinger. Okay, he said when you have stepchildren and your own biological children, you should make sure you try as hard as you can to raise them all the same. Don't find every fault in hers and no fault in your own.
I agree.
I totally agree.
But we agreed, George. But I think what Aaron more so was speaking to, the mom didn't want to see her child as being
the bad
problem, or having problematic issues.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know at that age they're changing a little bit, but it takes a man to be assertive.
Here's the thing: when my kids would act up, she wanted me to come down on them.
Yeah.
But when her kids act up, now it's time for therapy and soothing. And let's talk.
One thing about it, Aaron, I will give my wife credit for this. She was like this when we got married. She was like, all right, they yours too. And I told her, I married you and them. But when those boys got to fighting with each other, I went in to break it up.
They would be, I'm talking about, I'm like, y'all brothers.
I told them to quit acting a fool in my house. And once they got separated, they looked at me and wanted to gang up on me. I told them they can all get out.
I remember that.
Talking about.
I remember that. Oh my God.
I told
That's
them,
what I'm talking about.
Y'all can all get out.
All of y'all can get out. And I told him and his sister, we can do this the easy way.
They was at each other's throat. And I went to calm it down, separated them, and they ganged up on me.
They showed.
I remember all right, that. I got something for both of y'all. I can get it.
But the way he handles it, you can't do nothing with him this day. That's, they understand his stepdad and they respect it. I can be like, hey, we went through a rift when I wanted a divorce. I did. I was like, I'm getting out. Them kids was like, no.
Wow. You said no.
Aww.
The kids.
Wow.
And they still tell me that.
And my bestie,
I've always
they was
had
like,
your
no.
back. And listen to that. I was like, I always had your back.
They was
I
like,
know.
look, they said, but they know me. They said, Mama, just work a little more. Just wait a little minute.
So you are a runner. You're a track star.
She say it all the time. It's funny you say
when that song came out. But therapy.
Yeah.
But see, to me, that's a high level of respect right there. Like, Mom, what you doing?
Yes, for them to come to you.
You know.
But see, the thing is, Mr. Stacy,
yes, sir,
was not afraid to go against any kind of norms, even the norms where you, Shivonne, thought he exceeded. He wasn't afraid to push those limits to get the respect that he deserved.
Aaron, they could have hated me. I didn't care.
Yep. That's
at the end of the day, when they wanted to eat, they had to come there.
Yeah.
They didn't have to see me.
Right.
Let me tell you, all they do now, and I tell them all the time and give him his honors, because, and I, pre-game we talked about this. I was like, "Are you sure? Like, we not ready. Like, we're a broken family, and we got to put it together." He said, "I got y'all." He said, whatever y'all need. And I was like, for him to throw that on his shoulders. And that's what I'm saying. Like when it did get rocky and I was getting ready to pull out, and it was rocky for good reason. No, not good reason, because he had to work on some things, but that opened his eyes through therapy. Some things opened his eyes, like, wait a minute, I'm finna lose the family I love. He was willing to do the work. You cannot go to therapy, even for yourself, for your couple, and not do the work.
They were worth fighting for.
See,
he'll say that
is so important.
So for me, remember that Rocky stuff, for me, in my mind, it went full circle. And the kids said, don't do it, Mom. I said,
as bad as they were.
And he was saying, don't do it. You feel what I'm saying? He like, I know I got an issue, don't do it. But, you know, that was, for me, that was full circle, because it aligned with my therapy. And I had to come down and back down and said, this is worth fighting for. So here we are, going on 12 years now.
Yes.
So
wow.
it was worth fighting for. But we had to do the work.
Yeah, and you had to go against the social
norms.
You had to make sure you wasn't afraid to be disliked. So so
I wasn't trying to be their friend.
Bam.
That's the thing.
That's a whole nother topic.
Trying to be their friend,
because I'm not. I know that it's like I think Shivonne said it. We're preparing you for a world that it's not going to be your friend.
Absolutely.
You better,
especially our young black men. You know, it's like I had to do them differently, and then they both was different characters. Then we had to deal with our daughter. Like,
yes. When I told this ex, I told her, "What are you going to do when he get to be outside? You know, that age where the police can come straight to him, not to you.
Absolutely.
Or if he just decided to go into the military, do you think that they just going to be? Wait a minute, let me see what your mama want me to do. Heck no.
No, so we have a good mama story for you.
Okay.
The oil field with Keith.
Oh my God! Listen.
Don't do my babies like that.
My oldest bonus son. I don't call them none of my stepchildren. And my oldest bonus son.
Yeah, we don't even use
worked in the oil field with me. And right after the election with Obama, when he lost, they went to laying everybody off the day after the election.
But tell how old he was.
He was 21.
Was he 21?
He was 21.
Okay.
And we all have to go to the unemployment office and sign up. He's in there now. He's a baby's mama.
A mama's boy.
A mama's boy.
He
for
the
real.
First, Keely. He done went through both.
No, but he's in the unemployment office. All us men who worked in the oil field together, he in there talking about, let me call my mama and see if she can tell me how to figure this out. I said, if you don't put that goddamn phone down, boy, you a grown man. You will not. You will not. Not with me standing here and they know I'm your daddy. You will not be calling your mama. Mama, can you figure this out for me? No.
Oh, I love it.
I told you better sit down there and read.
But y'all, in my son's defense, that was his first job. He was making probably like $3,000 a week at 21.
I don't care.
And legally,
but I'm gonna tell you, it probably would have been okay had he not had somebody like Stacy there. Because
you gotta remember, we had just they still building that bond.
I know, but what I'm saying is, if he had absolutely nobody, then yes. But because he had somebody to say, boy, don't play with me.
Look, I
That
just
is
reacted.
what
All I did
helped,
was reacted. I didn't even think about it.
but that's what helped shape the kids. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That is what.
And I wasn't mad about it. Absolutely. Look, he said, let me call my mom. No, absolutely. I wasn't. It kind of tickled me. And just recently in the news, there's some football player that's getting a divorce from his wife.
Yes.
And
All the stuff
everything
was in his mama's name. I said,
Yeah.
look, I said, they're my sons. To this day,
But see,
it's all in their mama's name.
I think that was very strategically done because you know
I'm saying my sons would do it. I wouldn't even
Right.
know, but
they would do it.
I was just thrown back. You're not gonna even try to fill this paper. You're gonna call your mom and tell her, no, put that phone down. I'm not trying to hear that.
So we covered the
My baby.
parental norms. We covered some of the social norms with the national anthem. So in the corporate world, they got their own rules too.
Yes.
So I'm gonna share one story from me to how I went against the corporate norm, right?
Okay.
So Keela can attest to this. I'm always talking about pro-black stuff, black, blickety black. And if it ain't black, send it back. So I was asked to join a diversity committee, you know, to make sure that everybody has an equal standing in hiring and promotion and all that stuff. And, you know, I used to work for a newspaper, so we had to make sure the content that we went out was fair and balanced to people of color. It ain't just like, you know, and one of the things that I found out was when back in the 80s, when you read a tagline for the movie, the show Friends, it just says Alex goes to the store, whatever the name is, right? But when you read the tagline for the Cosby Show, it says Black Doctor. So why they got to be labeled as black, but Friends they got to be labeled as white? So that was my job to identify those disparities, right? So anyway, I was on a diversity committee, and so it was cool until they added something that I don't advocate, and that's the whole gay thing. I don't advocate it, but they put it all together, and so they told you if you're in it, you know, you have to advocate them all. So here we are. Here I am faced with this decision whether I'm gonna go with the train or I'm just gonna say no. I'm not gonna be afraid to be disliked and say I cannot advocate that because of my religious beliefs. So I had to stand up and tell them I can't do this. So they said, well, you can't have you half stepping. You can't have you just come in and just do the black thing. So you probably should not join. And I said, okay, that's fine. Have you guys ever been in a business world?
In the business world, it's similar to that when not necessarily, in the oil field it's like that because everything is black and white. It's always it's like the good old boy syndrome, or you them guys over there, them dark guys over there. We're gonna give you the trash jobs or whatever. And I've always spoken up for everybody. I'm one of those who don't like that separation and don't like favoritism and all that. My wife would tell you I can't watch certain movies because they make me mad. I'm trying to tell you. I come from that kind of cut. Like, no, that's not gonna be like that.
Well, in this conversation, let's realize, Stacey, I don't know how old you are, Aaron, but Stacey is.
I'm 30.
What? Oh, okay.
With a big curve.
Well, this is a good thing because the thing about me, I love diversity. I love the different cultures. I love the different mannerisms. I love the different foods. I love the different but
listen,
my husband is way older than us.
I was raised in the South.
So we can talk about that because age-wise, you guys out there, what do you think? Like age-wise, different seasons of people can have different experiences as it relates to diversity.
Well, see,
our children are probably way more diverse than we are.
Definitely. They definitely are.
But I was raised in the South, so I know how to navigate around.
We were raised up north,
black and white. So when my wife moved from Detroit to Arkansas, I had to teach her, like, hey, listen, this is how you navigate this lane because you used to that dark city.
Yeah. And it definitely is a difference.
It just broadened me even more, and I appreciated that.
You know, I remember my first time experiencing something like that. I was ringing up with this young lady, and she told me that I want you to ring me up, but I don't want you to have my check because my address is on there, and I don't want any of your friends to come and rob me.
Oh, sorry.
That's crazy.
First of all,
Right. When a black person say, first of all, clear the room. Just clear the room.
It's going left.
It's going left. Clear the room.
first of all, I'm looking at your address and I see where you live, and I can tell you my house will wrap 3 times around this one. Second of all, the young lady who was working there, who was also white, she stepped up to the plate for me, and I will never forget.
That's awesome.
She came over and knocked all that girl stuff in the basket, and she was like, she will not ring you up. If you want to be rung up, you can come to me or you can leave. And that she had the courage to be disliked. Right?
Right. That's
right.
I appreciate her for that, because she was a person, for one, that nobody kind of dealt with, because they were a little, it was back during our time when people were gothic, and she had the more hair. It was different. And so I was the only person she would talk to, but she stood up for me. And I look back at that and I'm like, I'm grateful for that, because she was like, bump that. She not ringing you up, period. But it's just so different because we did grow up differently. And so my first experience, I was grown. I didn't experience that as a child. But like Shivonne said, our kids, they just with everybody. It's just a melting pot. You know what I mean? So it's just a different day and time.
Different day.
So how do you get your kids to understand your values when they're bombarded with the social values?
Education. And what I mean by that, my kids, I talk really direct and raw with them, and we talk about everything. That's one of the things I didn't have growing up, because it was like what did it say? Be quiet, stay in a child's place.
Yes,
and not heard.
Yeah.
I had conversations with my children about sex, about religion, about we have and when I say my children are well rounded, they can talk to you about anything, politics, and will.
Yeah.
Yes, my child too.
There's some stuff that parents consider to be taboo that these kids don't find out until they meet their friends.
Right.
And that's the wrong time.
And that is
now they get the wrong information.
That's the wrong time.
Yeah.
And that's why
about drugs and everything, like you.
Yeah, and they should come talk to you about it and ask you about it, because I remember certain questions, that came up, and I'm thinking like, wait, whoa, I didn't even know about that until late. Girl, I was almost in college, and y'all talking about this now. But I prefer your child to come to you, because they definitely gonna find out there, and it might not even be the right type of information, because it's gonna come
the correct answer. The 8-year-old grandson asked us where the baby. His mom's getting ready to have a baby. He said, "Well, how did baby get in there?" I said, "Who?" I said, "You come to ask us."
So did you explain it to him, or did you tell him to go ask his mama?
Did.
Well, no.
First
we said contact your parents. So I put the parents on the video call. His mother, because I didn't want to also take the experience from her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I understood that I'm still a mom, so I might be Gigi, but I'm still a mom. So and they went back and forth. Nobody. So we called his uncles. They said, "Let us call you back." Nobody wanted to. So I said, "Stacey, you're gonna have to tell him." I said, because you know what I mean. I said, they have TikTok, YouTube. It's so much.
Yeah, that stuff. Yeah.
You might as well just go and.
But the crazy part is the more I explained to him where the baby,
more
questions.
Yeah.
And they got deeper and deeper. I was like, oh my God, this kid will never stop.
But I understand that, because he has to process it through only 8 years
old.
So how did you even explain it to him? It's like, see, now look, baby boy, it takes
I had to explain to him, because we all call his private parts his weeder. I had to understand him, like, look, this is where your semen come from. Then you got to explain semen to him. Then you got to explain how it gets into the egg, how you get it there.
So he just like, so he like, okay,
biology on him.
He like, okay, so
but they smarter than we think.
But I told him, I said, nobody can have a baby without your participation.
That's right.
He like, this what? I said, yeah, you carry everything that you need to have a child, but you just can't breed one into this world. So he keeps asking, and every time he come here, he's like, Papa, let me ask you this.
Yeah, but that's a good thing, because at least he's getting the real deal.
And
so by the time he gets into puberty and somebody tries to tell him, he's like, "No, I know the real
Nah,
deal."
that ain't
And
it.
then what is that? Some people get puberty before others.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
That's
So
why
can
you should
miss
be
the
honest.
moment.
Yeah.
If you asked the question, I just wanted to.
Yeah,
I was afraid.
They ask questions about God and heaven all the time because we always tell them that their brother who passed away is in heaven.
Mhm.
Well, can
They
I
have
go to
questions.
heaven? Can I go to
Yeah,
heaven and see
yeah,
him?
yeah.
Well,
Did you ever see that video of this teacher? And he said, "Well, we want to talk about words that end in
yes.
yeah, in an," and they were like threw out 3 names, and they said lesbian, and the girl
Yeah.
was like, "What's a lesbian?"
You want to be a lesbian
I want to be a
too.
lesbian.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna change it. What things that end in on? Prostitution.
Right.
Oh Lord.
Where it come from? Aaliyah says, "My mom told me babies come from the love between mommy and daddy." Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lovely night.
Yeah.
But
I tried
sometimes,
explaining it in that way, but they want to know how. They want to
yeah,
detail.
because sometimes it
Logistic.
don't be love. Sometimes it be one night stands.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so their stepdad. This is his first child with. She said they left it at that. This is, so the dad their stepdad, wonderful, but their dad just had a baby, so it's like, how does daddy keep having babies? Now mom pregnant, but that ain't his baby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Right. Those questions.
Yeah.
They got curved.
So wait a minute.
Yeah.
It was time to explain. Like, okay,
Now
Mm-hmm.
daddy with somebody else.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
When he
Yeah,
asked
I
how
can
mom
see
was
that
like,
being complicated for kids. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When especially when
is
they're
that
young.
his baby? Like, no, that ain't his baby. But let me
Right.
try to.
But we as adults have a unique challenge because like you said, Stacy and Shivonne and Keela, they have everybody has a cell phone. You can
Yes.
Google anything. Back when I was little and you saw a naked picture of a lady, you had to sneak a magazine and somebody had to get the magazine and it's circulating. That's the only time you really saw it.
Aaron, listen, I'm
These
glad you
phones
said
are in like everywhere and they can see it. So that said, it's like we have this new unique challenge to get in there before your child's brain is infiltrated and put
yes.
the right stuff in there.
Well, listen, I'm glad you mentioned magazine. I got an older brother who had a case of them. I swear to you, he had Playboy magazines everywhere. I'm like, God Almighty, boy! And all the guys in the neighborhood would come to my house just to look at them.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what y'all did?
Hey, that's how they got their education on what a woman's body looks like.
Well, we got a new TV package,
Oh my God!
and Jackson likes to watch.
My 8-year-old. Well,
He wasn't even
he
8.
was 5,
Yeah, he was maybe
maybe 6.
6 or 7.
He done found the Triple X channel.
And they have since changed it because if you scroll up, it took you to.
Yeah.
So they did change it. Now you can't just. I'm sure other people kids, but I walked in the room and I looked and he couldn't get it off the.
He probably was panicking. He was like, "What in the world is
You
this?"
saw his face.
I hate that I'm enjoying this.
Right.
And I cut it off, and I was about to fuss, but then I realized I thought about it. I said he didn't do that on purpose. But then I was like, "You want to talk about it?" Then I said, "Never mind."
Yeah, because they are exposed to so much.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
They are
I
exposed.
was so embarrassed.
To so
I said, "You want to talk about it?" I said, "Never mind." I just walked away. We gonna
So-
act like this didn't happen because I didn't even know what
And
to
for
say.
a long time, he was like this. I didn't see nothing.
And I know he saw it. I couldn't
So
say.
we talked about some norms that obviously we are not afraid to be go against. You know, social
Right.
norms, corporate norms, parental norms, all of this stuff. So since we're not afraid, answer me this question: what makes you, what gives you the courage to change how you deal with these aspects, these people and ideas?
Wanting to feel better.
Mhm.
Like not wanting to carry that on my shoulders of why they don't like me or why this is happening this way, and try to focus on the good, whether it's the good people that I have in my life or the
Exactly.
goodness in my corporate job or the goodness in my church, or I just tried to I did focus on that more, and I felt a relief.
Mhm.
Right.
Maybe like you can breathe, like, you know what, that was too much pressure.
Right, exactly.
Trying to fit in somebody else's expectations.
Yes.
Oh,
So
girl.
that was going to be my next question. So after you have stood up against these norms, you're not afraid to be disliked. What are examples of things that come across, and how do you withstand?
Well, look at it
So,
like this. I have a unique position about me that I can brush anybody off. If I don't like them, I won't. I can walk away and never think about them again. Even if they was in my life for a long time, we have a riff and everything.
His cutoff game is
My
real.
cutoff game is crazy. I be
So
like,
you
I'm
like
done with it.
Aaron.
Done. It's done,
Is that
I
a
was-
male trait?
and I won't think twice about you again.
but that ain't just male, because I was
about
just
to
about
say,
to say
I don't-
that's just like Keela. I was
you think
just
I'm like that?
Phew, yeah.
With
But
certain people,
Tequila, you
though.
Aries, right?
I know I'm a Taurus, but it's only with certain people, though. So, like, there are some people that I really do have to work a little harder than others. Like,
Mhm.
I'm
You got no
getting
filter.
I'm getting there. So like with certain family members, now that I've been learning and realized that I don't have to deal with your toxicity, I'm done. You know,
How did you
I'm
learn that, Keela?
so I
That's
learned
a good
it
question.
because at the
They
this
got
is
a
how
class at Mumford.
this is a okay, Aaron. I learned it because as you get older, I start thinking about things like, what is it that you are exactly doing for me in my life? I mean, and I'm not trying to be funny, but you haven't paid a car note, you haven't paid a house note, you haven't paid a light bill. I went to school on my own. You didn't help me do homework. You didn't help me get this job. And so at the end of the day, I know those sound all like material things, but what the point I'm making is I got here without you. And so for me to move forward, I can't be concerned about how you feel about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started trying to move forward because I can't, like you, take that pressure of trying to sit up and try to worry about why you feel this way about me, especially if you can't communicate it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my problem at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And if I did come to you and ask and you tell me it's nothing, I'm going to believe that. And if you're still acting shady, then now it's on you.
Yeah.
I'm
Believe it
just
or
going
not.
I'm just going to brush it off.
Right.
Believe it or not, I don't put no stock in nobody who doesn't add any value to me, and that might be selfish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It
That's
might
my
be selfish, but if I pour into you and it don't work out, and you're not reciprocating that,
exactly.
I won't care one way or the other, and I won't lose no sleep.
Right.
Exactly. And you know, in life, as you get older, you'll see the people of the paths that you were supposed to cross, that you pour into, and you know you're not going to get anything back because you were supposed to do what you were supposed to do for them.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a transactional relationship, and you know that. But when it's supposed to be transactional,
Mm-hmm.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And you know what? One more thing, you have to be okay with being okay, knowing you did nothing wrong. It was just maybe time for that. We all get on the elevator, like I said last week, at the same time. Some people gonna go get off at floor 4. Some people gonna get off at floor 8. You may be still reaching your point. Doesn't make them a bad person. And some people go through things in their life where they can't even give you what you're expecting.
Exactly. And some people aren't capable. And then adults, we all
Family
adults.
members, they can't give you what they never had.
We all at different stages in life. And what I have also learned the older I get too, just like Shay, we share some things off the grid. I didn't even know what's going on with you.
Mm-hmm.
So here Shay disappear and now I'm in my feelings, but I don't know what's going on with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So why, as a friend, I should be finding out. I mean, is everything okay over there? Instead of me hopping on the phone, girl,
Or
she ain't
Facebook.
called
They want you to
me.
put on Facebook.
She ain't
I'm
called me.
sick.
Yeah.
Pray for me.
This is the post that I have that I used to believe, but I have an issue with now. The ones that care is the ones that hear you even when you silent. But that may be true, but what about if they're silent? You so busy focused on what you're going through that you don't realize that they're going through something too.
Mm-hmm.
Because on the other end of this screen, I may be posting a joke, but you don't know what I'm dealing with on this other end of this screen.
Right.
Because I've had people be like, "Oh, I see you're doing good." Or I said, but when I posted 1 year from a stroke, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you had a stroke." I said, "You didn't call to ask."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I didn't post it on Facebook. They was like, "Well, I was watching on Facebook." I said, "Well, Was you with me every day on Facebook? Because I don't post like every day. Like today was I ate McDonald's.
And that's the thing. Everybody don't post their stuff on Facebook.
I totally got what Jamie Foxx was saying. That was one of my worst moments, health wise. He was trying not to be seen. Like, who comes out and be like, "Yeah, I had a stroke. I'm going through this." I'm like, that's not me.
And if
my family to guard me too. Like, no.
And I've had people tell me, like, well, when I used to take my little breaks from Facebook, they'll say, "Oh my God, I noticed you've been missing. I look for your post in the morning. Thank you for checking on me. That's great." But then if you're going through some stuff and people like, "Oh, well, I just thought you were good. Oh, I would have never knew you were dealing with that. You were still posting jokes." Girl, it take 2 seconds to post a joke that I probably didn't laugh at, but I knew y'all would. I mean, that means absolutely nothing. So what I'm saying is you can't check. Facebook is not your absentee here present. That don't mean that people are present, is what I'm trying to say. Just because they're active on Facebook.
What don't need to hear from you.
Let me just ask y'all. I don't know how y'all feel about this. How do y'all feel about people that make posts about pray for me? Don't ask any questions.
That's right, Nikki.
Oh, Aaron, please. Wait, before you answer that, Aaron, before y'all answer that, because I know where Aaron gonna go with that. Read
Aaron probably going where I'm going.
Nakisha's comment first.
Nakisha says, happy moments are what people share publicly, but when they hurt, they tend to suffer alone or in silence.
That is extremely true, Nakisha.
Why is that? Why don't people reach out?
Well, I mean,
we know I call it the book of faces, Aaliyah.
Yeah. Well, Facebook ain't real.
No, and it's not real. And I think I wrote a post the other day. We are not your friends.
Yeah. And
on Facebook.
And as I wrote in my first book, because Aaliyah wrote a book about Facebook. As she wrote in her first book, I'll just read it from the side. Everything is not everything is not for public consumption.
Oh, you was trying to look for her comment.
You betting 1,000.
No.
Okay.
Let me go ahead.
Keela falling off over there.
Man, listen.
On the ones and twos.
So Aaron just casually throw these things in there, and so I'm still
trying to be smooth with it.
Yeah, and I gotta get on board. And he know the hamster be on the wheel sometimes.
It's more than one hamster up there, and they're going in different directions.
Stacey, don't you laugh at that? Stacey, don't you laugh at that?
Stacey, don't.
Stacey, it's like 17 hamsters up there, man.
I already know.
Okay, so get back to Stacey's question, because I agree with both of those comments. That is the truth. So Stacey asked you about.
I want to know how y'all feel about when people always want to make posts of pray for me, but don't ask me what's wrong.
This is where I'm definitely not afraid to be disliked, because I was like, I'm not praying.
Right?
Did you post that, Aaron?
Yeah, I know. I'll tell them in a private message. I don't want to embarrass them.
Oh, okay.
Because here's the thing, right? This is a story I tell people. If you ask me to pray and don't ask me, and I'm asking God to help you, that's praying amiss. Because let's just look at this scenario. If somebody's trying to get, let's say, roaches out of their house, and I've tried everything, please pray with me. That's the problem, right? But what they don't tell you is they eating in the bed, they leave plates on the floor, they never wash the dishes, they never sleep.
Right.
I mean, you got windows with no screens, and it's like, well, you're inviting the problem in. You got me praying for you,
praying for a problem, and you are the problem.
Stacey, so this is where I differ from Aaron. I will, even if you are not willing to tell me, I will say, Lord, you know their situation. If it is your will, whatever they need help with, help them, because I don't know what to pray for. Right. So I could be trying to pray, y'all pray for me, and you want this man to leave his wife.
Right.
No, I ain't praying for that.
Wait. You just said that you would say, Lord, if it's your will, help
them. If it's your will, but you know that ain't God's will.
Right. But why waste your time when they want? See,
that's what I'm saying. Because
what you have to think about is, why won't they tell you?
Right.
Yeah, because they say they don't want it to be publicly known.
Well, Keila, sometimes somebody needs a specific prayer. You asking for prayer, and I might be praying that you get your house bill paid, and you might have cancer, and you pray for cancer. my prayer going somewhere else, and your cancer ain't
when
being
you
touched.
prayed, Lord, let your will be done. That's God.
It's
All
saying
you did was a sincere thing. That's between me and God, not me and that person.
right.
Whatever it has to do with the tithes, I paid it unto God.
I'm just
I've
saying.
sent a prayer for that person unto God.
I get
Unto
that.
God.
And
And
God is gonna
God,
do the rest.
he has
But I'm
his
like-
way.
I'm like, Aaron, you asked me to pray for you. You better tell me why.
Tell me
Or I'm
something,
not doing it.
because I ain't praying.
You're not gonna get that prayer.
Mm-mm.
Man,
Sorry.
I really love, Stacey, that you jumped in here on the chat. This was awesome.
I get this. Look, I told you the whole house need to do a podcast when the grandkids on. Y'all
Hey, I
have
want to hear from Jackson on how babies are put in the stomach.
Listen, boy, he'll ask that question. I swear to you.
It says
Aaron,
how
many people actually pray for?
Aaron,
people
I
based
believe it
on-
or not, I am a person who pray. If I see somebody put up a post and say, please pray for me, I will silently pray in that moment. Like, I'm not a person that say, I'll pray for you and then I forget about it. But I will say this, and Lord, forgive me for being judgmental. If it be goofy people that
What's
I
a
know,
goofy person?
because they always putting up something goofy. And then they be like, pray for me in the next post. Dude, are you serious right now? I don't know if you serious. I'm not going, that may be wrong of me to judge, but sometimes they'll put up something that is so outlandish. And then the next moment, and I'm not saying it can't be true, but they play so much that I don't even know. I don't know. So
you don't know what to pray for.
I have scrolled, and Lord forgive me if I scrolled past something that needed really attention. But the point
usually the prayer is just a prayer symbol.
And I heard that was the Aaron. I heard
the high five.
that was the high five symbol, really. But that's what I'm saying. It really depends. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. I truly believe that. So if it's something that's meant for you to add your blessing to, because God don't even need us. We can go to God for ourselves, and really, if you really need that. But
Aaron, we was just talking about that.
Really ain't. Like I said, with my illness, I ain't have to go to Facebook for God to do this. Right. He did, and God did a miraculous thing in 2 days. Like
a lot of times, people are just lazy and they just want you to pray, and they won't.
Well, they really want you to ask why.
They want you to ask why, so they can come in the comments and say, "Don't ask me," or the people that say, "Please pray for me. Don't ask questions. Don't call my phone."
And I swear,
my wife would tell me in a minute. She said, "You're an asshole." I'm just saying.
I don't know if you can cut.
I'm sorry.
Listen, the views of my husband is not consensually. What am I
saying? Okay, I've never posted.
I apologize.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I'm sorry. Nikita said, "Okay, I've never posted a mysterious prayer request, but I do understand why some people would. When I was going through my darkest time and hurting the most privately, sometimes that simple prayer hands is all I could share publicly."
I get
but
that.
Nikisha, I get that, but I'm saying for whoever is scrolling, we're not saying that their prayer request is
Aaliyah, girl, I will pray, and when I pray, you better share some of that.
Right, share the prayer, send the prayer back.
No,
spread the prayer around. But I'm saying, like, when we scroll, like she's saying, you kind of. I know Nikisha, so if I see something like that, that's right. That's what Keela.
You got a personal relationship.
But that's the difference Keela is saying about.
That's what I'm saying.
Because even your strongest people, and Nikisha is strong. I'm saying so, but we have dark times too. So we may not post or something. That's our music.
Yeah, and just don't do it for attention. You know what I'm saying?
I know Nikisha wouldn't do that for attention. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm finna call her, and I'm not about to. I might tell her I'm praying, but I'm about to call her too because you might not get to tell me, but I can feel it because what comes from the heart reaches the heart. I'm like, all right, girl, I got you. Okay.
Hey, Nikisha, I need $500. I'm not gonna tell you why. Just send it.
But listen, y'all, we gotta go, and I don't want because I want to post this to Instagram. It was such a pleasure to have you guys here.
Thank you.
The challenge is have the courage to be disliked. That is the challenge.
Yes.
And stand on merit. Get your therapy.
Exactly.
Work on you.
I appreciate y'all letting me join.
Thank you, Stacey. We enjoyed you.
Forgive me for some of my profanity.
All right.
That's all right.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.